of all time, one of the most creative plays of all time, and just general an awesome highlight. So I'm not saying the NFL should necessarily change the rule on the spot, but certainly all of us are in favor of just awesome stuff, just like Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady does something awesome, obviously he's cheered. Tom Brady does something awesome, all of a sudden it's against the rules? Not a fan.
Yeah. Wild. What we're not a fan of is cheating. What I am a fan of, though, is creative, familial, salary cap manipulation. And that might be what we have with the old Morris twins. If you guys don't know, the Morris twins, they both went to Kansas together. They wore matching outfits at all times. They got matching tattoos. They then both at one point played for the Suns. They asked for their contracts to be combined. They're very, very tight as a family, as I'm sure Brandon's young twins are as well and will be when they grow up. So, Marcus got $64 million from the Clippers. Markieff got the veteran minimum from the Lakers. People were like, why didn't Markieff ask for more money? Go somewhere where he could have gotten more money. Well, maybe it's because of this. As Marcus Morse reminds us, they still share a bank account. So thank you to Lawrence Frank, Executive of the Year, Lawrence Frank, for helping out the Lakers. It's not really $16 million for your guy. It's $8 million for your guy and $8 million for Markieff, who comes back to the Lakers for the veteran minimum. That's not against the rules. That's good financial planning by two family members, Jenna, and I endorse it because it certainly helped the Lakers.
I love it. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. I am both trying to do a national show and trying to parent my kids in the other room who are trying to get on with the remote learning and all of it, and I'm kind of doing a terrible job. I ask parents this, how do you do it? On Sundays, I try to work by watching 3 hours of football while my kids are so bored they want nothing to do with football. I look for anything like, hey, look at those cleats. Aren't they interesting with those colors? Let's look at them for 3 hours. Last night, the Bucs, after the interception, the Bucs defense did this. This is great. This is rowing and rowing and rowing your boat. They're all in line. They're all in sync. My kids would have loved this. I could have sold this for 3 hours. Where were my kids? In bed. These guys going gently down the stream. This is my gentle request. Maybe you guys could do this on a Sunday afternoon so I could sell it to my kids. 3 hours of football with no iPads would be glorious. Harper, help Quinny. You could do it. Just hit the blue link. It's never going to happen. My kids are on it in school. We got to head up to Foxborough now. Wilds, earmuffs, buddy, earmuffs.
Yeah.
The Patriots are hanging on tight to their playoff hopes, but barely, real tight, because those playoff hopes are real slim these days. On Sunday, Cam and company coming up short to a pretty bad Texans team. So what does it mean for Cam with this Pats team at 4-6? Quarterback was asked about his future. Take a listen.
Do you have interest in being a Patriot in 2021?
Man, I have interest in winning the Arizona Cardinals game. How about that? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many things that I mean, I don't want to even harp or dwell or even think. I think my as the Bible says, my runneth over it, with just trying to focus on, the near future rather than the far future.
Somebody has been spending a lot of time with Bill Belichick, the old non-answer, using like 100 more words. But Coach Mangini now back with us. Let me ask you this. Would it be best for these two at the end of this season to sort of go their separate ways? Is that the best thing for this team? It hasn't exactly worked out according to everyone's in New England's plan, I don't think.
I don't know if it's the best plan for them to part. And nobody was more skeptical about this working in New England than I was. I didn't even know if he'd be able to make the team and more or less or be able to start. But I've been really impressed by what Cam's done. And from what I hear, he's been an incredible teammate. He's been amazing in the building. And you hear the way that he's speaking. That's a very Patriot way of talking, where you're focused on the present and not the future. And I want to see Cam continue to do really well. They're really a couple plays away from having 2 more victories, and this season could look dramatically different. And I'm not counting him out down the stretch either. I think that Cam's been impressive. I think that Cam's earned an opportunity to start somewhere else if it's not New England, or he's earned an opportunity to get paid as a, back as a starter as opposed to a prove-it contract that he's had in New England, and I'm happy for him for that.
Well, I love to hear all that, Coach. If people didn't watch the Patriots-Texans game, it was one of Cam's better games of the year. Threw for 350 yards, didn't turn the ball over. I know the game ended with him not being able to get the Hail Mary off on the 4th and 4. It wouldn't have been a Hail Mary, kind of a pseudo Hail Mary. But it was, or the final notable drive, I should say, ended like that. But Cam wasn't the reason they lost that game. They lost that game because somehow the defense this year is one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL. And Deshaun Watson did whatever he wanted to do. But, Brandon, I don't think we can answer this question yet. I think the question for Cam is, can he make it through the full season healthy? That was, I think, why there was no market for him this offseason, was because there was questions about his health. And so we need to see if he can make it through the full season healthy. I don't consider the game he missed because of COVID, a football health-related issue. That's an outlier for this specific season. And then the Patriots got to see, Brandon, what their other options are. A wise man once said a football team is as loyal as his options. And so what are your options? Because if the option's Hoyer or Stidham, then obviously you are smart to go back to Cam Newton. There's not going to be a bounty of free agent quarterbacks available. Like Jameis might be available, but I'd rather have Cam than Jameis if he stays healthy. And we don't know if they're going to be in the draft. So I think it really depends on how the final 6 weeks go if Cam stays healthy and how much Cam has enjoyed his time in New England on his end.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I think Cam answered the question brilliantly. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to deflect that. Don't create any distractions. So he did a great job there. But if I'm Cam, Nick, I'm focused on this next game, and I'm focused on finishing strong. Because if I finish strong these last 6 weeks, now I have all the leverage. I can go to another team and become a starter, or I can stay here. But the Patriots need Cam more than Cam needs the Patriots. Because what are the options? What are the options in free agency? What are the options via trade? What are the options in the draft? Like, there really isn't a better alternative at this point that showed up. So when you look at it, again, like what you talked about, 365 yards, zero turnovers against the Houston Texans. I know it's the Houston Texans, but at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, who was he throwing to? Bird, White, Harry, Myers, Burkhead? Are any of those guys on that list capable of being a number 2 anywhere else? I don't think so. So if I'm Cam Newton, whilst I finish strong these last 6 games, and then I sit down with Bill Belichick, I'm saying, look, man, what are we going to do next year? How are you going to get us more help? Talk to me about the tight end position. Talk to me about the wide receiver position. Cam's doing a great job of not creating distractions and not pointing the finger at anyone. I mean, he's played bad throughout that little, recovery time with COVID-19. But for the most part, he doesn't have help. So he needs help if he wants to make this work in New England Wilds.
Yeah, I mean, if Bill Belichick wasn't letting Tom Brady in on personnel decisions, I don't think anybody's getting in on personnel decisions. So I think if they have a meeting, I'm Bill Belichick, I say, Cam, let's run it back. You're getting better with the playbook. You said you were learning more, and here are, drum roll, 3 reasons I would sign Cam Newton right now or at the end of the season. Right now is too much, but I get ahead of myself. I get enthusiastic when I talk about Cam. Number 1 reason, leadership. Hey, it's been an up and down season. We could have easily been like Tank and the whole thing could have fallen apart. Nope, this guy's out saying like, hey, I'm pointing thumbs. I don't point fingers. And everyone, it's hard to find a Patriot who hasn't talked about how good of a leader he is. Belichick, McDaniels, Jed Fish, Hall of Famer Julian Edelman. Great leadership. Also, on offense, besides Edelman, who's our real leader there? It's got to be Cam. Came in and filled the void left by Brady. Number 2, upward trajectory. You guys said it in Texans loss. No turnovers, 26-40, 365 yards. Brandon, you know what I always say, and I tell my kids every night, ball security is job security, yours and mine. My kids are like, what are you talking about? We don't even have jobs. I said, doesn't matter. Get it into your head, kid. Get it into your head. Job security is ball security, yours and mine. Number 3, it's been a quiet rebuild. Everyone thinks it's either contend for the Super Bowl or tank, but you can kind of recover on the fly. Like if you're running a marathon, you don't have to run all out. Like, take mile 15, take it down a notch. That's what the Patriots did. Reload in 2021. How much cap space do we have? 70 million. And all our guys back off the COVID list that hopefully we get a vaccine, knock on wood. Normal year, and the Patriots are ready to rebuild. Cam will have 2 years in the playbook, coach. I feel like our options are not great. Not like Dak Prescott's going to opt out. He's going to go back. So Cam's the best guy out there for us, and familiarity with the team and the leadership. I love him. I'd sign him up again.
Yeah, I don't know how much it's a function of options. The options will become clear, as we move forward, and a bunch of things change. But if I'm Cam Newton, I look at Tom Brady, who got $50 million guaranteed, and I got $500,000 guaranteed. And you have to give Cam a ton of